Ah, what another banging day! What has gone on? We've gone from rain and freezing cold weather to absolute Baltic sunlight, and it's warm. It's warmer outside than it is in my house. You know what I mean? Inside it's way colder than it is outside because you've not got the breeze. You've not got the sun on you, so the breeze makes you cold, and it's so good, man. Where this weather's come from, I don't know, but we've got the early spring sunshine coming through. I'm a big fan. This is earlier than usual, so hopefully we get a nice long summer, because last summer was so short and so like it was good, but like the year before we had way more than we did last year. Either way, today we're talking about the battle between the two most popular bikes, I would say. Sorry all the cruisers, but you're a bit more of a smaller breed. Why is there water on the floor? Damn it! We're talking about a sports bike versus a naked bike. Which one's better? Which one should you get? Which one's better for your money? Which one's quicker? Which one handles better? I've been on both of them plenty of times now. Obviously, I daily this bloody sport bike, Sports Tourer. Can't really call it a sports bike officially, but the only difference is it's a little bit slower, and the clip-ons are above the yoke, not below the yoke, so it's a bit comfier. Other than that, it's a bloody sport bike, alright? So chill out. But yeah, the argument. Let's start with comfort, right? We all know that naked bikes are way comfier. We can get that one off the list nice and quick. They are. It's way comfier. But at certain speeds and in certain places. Once you get on those open roads on the dual carriageway, naked bikes, dead, mate. Hate it. Your shoulders are getting battered left and right, bush. And unless you're an absolute unit, it's annoying, mate, to keep bashing the wind against you. Sports bikes, you still get wind on your chest when you're riding them, like on the dual carriageway and that. I still do get wind, but because the screen's a lot higher, especially if you've got a double bubble screen, it does go to more of the top of your chest, more of your head. But naked bikes, it's your arms, it's your elbows, it's all of it, alright? So, well, this guy's not waiting for anyone, is he? I guess there's enough room for both of us, but whatever. Yeah, so comfort-wise, it's hard, man, because obviously sports bikes are uncomfy when it comes to long distance. They're not the most practical. But in short blips, and once you've got used to it, I don't really mind the comfort of this. I don't really sit on this bike and go, damn, it's uncomfortable. Obviously, when I do 3 hours on it, then yes, I would say it's uncomfortable. So I think I'm going to have to give it to the naked bikes, even though there's that certain situation, which is the only real situation that it gets the down point for it, is the dual carriageway. Other than that, it ticks every other box. Whereas this, oh god, I'm burping. Whereas this in town and stuff, like you have to lift your neck up a bit higher, it's a bit uncomfortable on your shoulders and your wrists, and then it's a little bit less windy at dual carriageway, but you're still on long journeys and you're still aching. So yeah, naked bikes definitely get the point for comfort. So that's 1 point to them. We'll do a point system and we'll see who wins from that. Put yours down below, what ratings you got, what points you got on the scores for your opinions. Where am I going to go? Oh, hello. Cheers, bro. We're going to go straight. Speed, power, performance, right? I would say your generic naked bike is low-end torque. Let's just say that as a ballpark statement, yeah? Obviously, some of them are a bit more screamers and they've got the top-end stuff like the sport bikes. But I would say majority of naked bikes, you're getting that low-end punch, that low-end playful fun, because they're not meant for high speed. What is she doing? You're in the middle of the road, son. That's dodgy. Car's coming around that corner right now, going to squish you. She's going to get squished. I would say power-wise, in terms of raw speed and that's got to go to the sport bikes, obviously, for speed. But then for torquiness, that's obviously going to go to the naked bikes. They're probably a lot more efficient when it comes to like in and out of the corners. They're probably set up a lot more for that sort of low-speed fun. So it all depends on that one. Is literally your personal opinion for who you give the point to in terms of power and performance. Because it just depends on how you ride. If you're sending it top speed highway runs, well then yeah, naked bike's gonna be dead, mate. Then if you're back road swinging it, obviously I like swinging this thing around on the back roads, it's fun. But I also like swinging around a naked bike because again, it's fun in terms of the power delivery of that low end torque on that comfort sort of position. But then I also do like getting this up in the revs and swinging it off like 11,000 RPMs around a corner and then absolutely tearing into that power band. That is also fun, pulling the power out of the bike when it doesn't want to have it. You've got to really play with it and get it into the position it needs to be in. So that's another point. It's who do I give it to in terms of power and performance? I'm going to be very biased, but obviously this is all personal preference, this scoreboard that we're doing today. So for me, I'm going to give it to the Sportbikes, just because, mate, it's just so fun. Like, you can have fun on a sport bike and still get that top end, whereas I feel like on the naked bikes, the top end gets taken away by the comfortability of the bike and the wind. It kind of ruins the performance of that top end that the naked bike could get on like a street triple RS. That could get a high top speed, but you won't enjoy it because you're in the terrible position for that speed, you know what I mean? So I think performance and engine wise, I'm giving it to the sport bikes. So that's 1-1 so far. Handling, ooh, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Handling, where do we go with handling? Again, it splits off into tight low speed corners to then high speed swingers. Oh, swingers. This sport bikes, your handlebars and your forks are so much more planted in. So like when I'm riding this sport bike round corners and stuff, like the weight is in that front end and it's like planted down. Whereas on a naked bike, when I've ridden them, the front end is so much looser because you're sat upright. The weight's a little bit more distributed evenly, almost towards the back a little bit. So like you can knock those bars really easily and upset the front. It's very, very sensitive when you're sort of going around corners at speed. Low speed, obviously, that's great because you can swing it back and forth and like be really light on that front end. But in terms of top speed, I don't really like it. So for handling, oh, I don't know, to be honest. Can we get past this guy, do you reckon? Let's do it. Handling, oh, because I was on Jordan's the other day, like his MT-07, and that was going around those corners really nice, but I'm not used to that position, so I find it quite awkward to get the bike into that window where I really want to swing off it and know that it's planted. It doesn't really feel that like secure to me, to be honest. This feels way more planted when I'm hanging off it than a naked bike does, but then I know a naked bike at low speed, really tight flicks, could probably outdo a sport bike. Do we think logically or do we think personally for this one? Because biasly I want to say the sport bike for pure handling, but then if we're looking at it on a piece of paper, at the end of the day, you can probably, a beginner's going to be able to handle a naked bike a lot easier than they are this, because they are more flickable. Do you know what I mean? So I do think we're going to have to give handling to the naked bikes, and even though I don't want to, because at high speed I do think these are way more, but I think the naked bikes just cover a lot more overall basis. These are terrible in town and like cities like London and that for handling. Naked bikes, they're amazing, you can swing them around. These are really good on these sorts of open roads and these big high speed ones, but then naked bikes can still do that, but just not as good. But I feel like the naked bikes can do the bad stuff a little bit better than the sport bike can do the bad stuff like in London and stuff like that, if that makes any sense what I just said. So yeah, I think we're going to have to give handling to the naked bikes. That's 2 to the naked bikes, 1 to the sport bike. Looks wise, this is an easy one for me. I think naked bikes, they look cool, but I think you can't compete with a sport bike, mate. You can't compete with those fairings and the way the body looks all the way down the lines of the bike. I just think sport bikes look so much better. Naked bikes are still cool, but they're just a little bit naked. They just don't look finished. But it just depends on what you like. Some people do like that, but I honestly think you can't beat a sport bike, mate. Like the BMWs, like all them crazy fairings and stuff, they just look better, man. So looks is going to the sport bikes 100%. So that's 2-2. That was a short one. Last thing I think we should talk about is price. I think that should finish off this. We'll do 5 different categories. So the last one should be price, I reckon. What is better? What's you getting more for your money, I guess? Like what's the better value for money? A sport bike or a naked bike? Ooh, it's a hard one. I think sport bikes in general, they're probably more expensive, no? Because obviously it's the name and it's sports bike. Whoa, an R6. Mental. I feel like you could probably pick up a naked bike a lot cheaper, but then it depends what model you're going for. I'd say price, when we're looking at prices, I think you get more value for your money. Let's say value for your money is this category. I think you get more value for your money in a sports bike than you do a naked bike. Alright, I'm sorry, I'm saying it. Only because I'm comparing it to like the most popular one, which is the MT-07. I just think they're so carbon copied, and there's so many of them, and they're not cheaply built, but they kind of are a little bit with the plastics and stuff like that. I think you're getting a lot more bike and a lot more value for your money with a sports bike. I honestly do. Nothing against the naked bikes, or if you want to spend your money on one of those, but I think you're going to get a lot more bike and a lot more value out of getting a sports bike than you will be out of getting a naked bike, because of all those other categories that we just spoke about, like that you get the benefits from the sport bike in all those categories. I do think it's eventually overall worth the money more as opposed to the naked bike. Alright, so that's my final verdict. So sport bikes win in my five round display. Hold on, let me get out of this junction. Sport bikes are taking the win for the last point in my little list of who's better, naked bikes or sport bikes. So if you want to do your own down below, put naked bike and then the number, and then put sport bike and then the number, and we can see what you tallied it at, and we'll see what the overall comments say about this little debate. Alright, so you got speed, you got performance, you got comfort, you got handling, you got looks, and you got value for your money. They're the 5 categories. So have a little gander down below, see what everyone else is saying, put your 2 pence in, see what you're saying, and we'll see who wins the argument. But I think you can't beat a sport bike, mate. Sorry, you can't beat it. I think it just outweighs too many positives compared to negatives. So yeah, I just thought that was a little fun thing, because I always see it, and I've been on both of them, and I really like both of them, but I'd choose this every time. Sorry. Either way, get out on your bike, mate. It's sunny, right? Let's turn off YouTube, stop watching this video, subscribe to my channel obviously first, and get out on your bike, mate, because it's sunny. And if you haven't got a bike, go do your test, because you're missing out. This summer's the one to do it. See you guys later. I appreciate you all watching. Views are going up at the minute, and it's really, really nice to see. So yeah, you're all legends. You're helping me get this thing closer to where I want it to be. See you later.